Lily.
Hi Geraldine, how are you?
I'm very good, and you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you for taking the time.
Yes, I'm very glad to see you. So, what would you like to discuss today?
So lately I've been feeling quite overwhelmed in my life. And on top of that, I'm pregnant right now, the fourth month. So I feel I'm going to get even more overwhelmed with the baby coming. So yes, it's handling all that has been very challenging for me. Huh? Yeah.
Okay, first of all, congratulations. That's really an amazing news. Huh? I'm very happy for you.
Thank,
Huh?
thank you very
Okay,
much.
so I understand that you feel, I mean, this is an amazing news, but you feel a bit overwhelmed these days and that you're a bit not so comfortable because you might be even more overwhelmed with the baby coming in some months, right?
Yes,
This is what
exactly.
you want to discuss
Yes.
today, right? Okay. Okay, so what would you like to achieve today?
I would like to see what can I do to be less overwhelmed, to be more taking care of myself, of the people around me, and handling still handling all the tasks that I have to do on my job. Yeah.
Okay, that's very clear. So what you want to achieve is to know how to take care of yourself. It's very
Yes.
important for you, the people surrounding you, and also all your work and tasks that you have
Yes.
in hand. So
Exactly.
three domains, right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you for framing it like that. It's exactly that. So, uh, the importance of like self-care, which is very difficult for me, it's always the last priority. Uh, the relationship at home, like with my husband, like how do I manage that and making sure it's still a priority and not like a given. And yes, and handling the work, all the tasks that I have to do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And thank you. So you want to look at these three areas to see how you can feel less overwhelmed.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what would success look like for you?
Good question. So success for me would be that I feel less exhausted at the end of the day or on the weekends. Like last weekend on Saturday, I was like sleeping non-stop during the day, like at least out. Like it's not only because I'm pregnant, but also I can feel it's like because I've been pushing too hard. So how to find the limit, between like the fact that I love to work and I'm in the flow and always saying yes to things, and where I'm damaging myself, my self-care, and it's even more important now that I'm not alone in that body. So how do I know where to put the limit? So last week it was very challenging, and so that was a big realization for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it was a huge realization, and I can hear a lot of tension between. Yeah, you're very exhausted. You're using a pretty strong word, and at the same time, you're in the flow. You like that, so it's difficult to find the right balance. Okay, and feel better for you and for your baby
Yes.
and the
Yes.
people around you.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Okay. If I use on a scale from 1 to 10, how exhausted or overwhelmed do you feel?
That would be maybe 8 right now.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
I'm quite overwhelmed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And what would be your objective?
To be more in control of that, and so that would be more like a 5, like being able to be less overwhelmed.
Okay. All right. So a 5, less overwhelmed. How would you feel at 5?
Uh, at 5, I would feel like that I'm not doing the crazy things I'm doing right now. If I can give some examples, so uh, I'm often skipping breakfast. the morning, I usually start working from 7, and it's intense until at least 12. And so I'm often skipping breakfast. So this morning is exactly the case. So I just had like a sip of water, and like I still haven't eaten my my orange. Same for like taking care of myself, which comes also with like yeah, even like cleaning. Like I would say, like I've realized that I can decorrelate like makeup, washing my hair, and washing my body. So I do that at 3 times during the day when I can. For the breakfast, I would love to have breakfast also with my husband. He would love that, but I never take the time. So yes, those little things, like having like a routine, a better in place routine where I feel a bit less crazy about how I handle things, and having not this truck running over me like every morning, like of things I have to do, and like reacting, and more like being like, okay, a time for self-care, time for breakfast with my husband, time for work. So that would be a measure of success for me, that I'm able to put together like this routine where there is like self-care, there is time with my husband, and yeah.
Okay, okay. So it seems that you have a pretty clear idea of what success could be. So it's being less reacting, having not this truck, which is a
Yes.
pretty strong image. Okay, and having a routine and more time for yourself, more quality time with your partner. Okay. Okay, so maybe before we look at what's going on now, would you mind telling me why this is important for you today? Why do you want to address this issue today?
So first, on the self-care, because I'm realizing that I'm stretching myself way too much, and there are some signs like of being tired, like and the fact that I'm pregnant. I want that part to be even more a priority. I don't want to harm the baby because of my craziness of working non-stop. And why it is important, it's also because of my relationship with my husband. So we often take it for granted, like we have this relationship, and then am I pushing it a bit too much also, like asking him to do all the things he's doing, like he's taking care of everything. And with this baby coming, like I'm like, if I'm stretched today, what would it be in a few months? You know, like I'm super scared of that. I just had a dream last week of a tsunami. So this literally, I was like at a restaurant with my parents and my husband, and by the window there's this tsunami that came through the restaurant. And so I've always used that word, like of the baby being a tsunami in my life. And it was like, wow, this huge realization that I shouldn't use that word, because then my unconscious brain is picking up on it. So yeah, that's why it's important. I'm realizing like all these red alerts that it's time to act on it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and what prevented you from acting on it so far?
I think it's like having that strong identity of hard worker that has been in my DNA and in my family's DNA for ever for me. So and being in the flow, I'm still enjoying, like I'm enjoying very much like working. And so that's why, like for me, I'm like in this tunnel, like, and like working, enjoying it. And before I was like on my own, so at home, like I didn't have anyone at home with me, like no partner, so I was not too worried about that. But now that I'm with someone and a baby coming, I need to shift that. Yeah, to pivot and have that mindset shift, basically. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you want to have to shift your mindset, but I understand that your biggest obstacle is the fact that you really enjoy what you like, that you're in the flow, and that's the biggest obstacle. I understand. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, you were mentioning this tension. That's 100% what's happening with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what have you tried so far?
So because of that dream and that realization, so last week I decided to, and also my husband told me like on Thursday last week, he told me, Lily, you haven't gone out at all of the house this week since Monday. You
Okay.
just take the office and go out like just to eat, like I mean like in the main room. And to those realization, I realized, okay, now I need to put something in place, and that's why I'm quite happy to have this session today. And so what we did is we went cycling over the weekend. That's on the self-care. It's helping on the self-care and the relationship with my husband, so having some quality time for myself and with him. So that was one of the things I did. Otherwise, I need to do there's a lot of work on what I need to do. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to, so what I'm hearing, so you've tried a bit here and there, and you are, the fact that your husband told you, oh, you've not been out for the past few days. And so for you, it's like, okay, I really need to change, right?
Yes.
I need to change my mindset, and I also need to embrace new habits to help me feel less overwhelmed.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what would you like to focus on now?
Maybe put together that routine. What would it be, and commit to it. And at least if I put it together with you, and then this I'm committing with you to that. So at least I have this commitment, partner engagement. So yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's go through that. What would be the first step to establish a routine?
So on the self-care part, in terms of sports, so the cycling, we realized that we both like cycling, mountain biking. So cycling, I was maybe once on the weekend and once during the week. So on I think lunchtime Wednesdays would be good, and on the weekend when it's the weather is good, so either Saturday or Sunday. So that would be a good one. I need to check if I can go to the pool. I would love to go swimming. So that would be three like self-care moments. And then during the day, I'm wondering, like, I've never done meditation. I've never managed to get it into it, but should I do 30 minutes like of meditation, or so I need to look into that.
You don't seem so
convinced.
No.
Saying it, I'm realizing, no, I've tried many times, like it never sticks. So maybe that's not a good idea. You're right. Having a breakfast in the morning with my husband. So putting some time aside, like 30 minutes, and I know he would love that. We never ever have a breakfast together. So yes, like that would work well. What else? I don't know. I feel yeah, in the evening doing less television, but at the same time, that time I'm like my brain is not functioning. So that's a good. But maybe reading, or yeah, switching off television at least a few times a week. Yeah, that would be good if I can commit to that at least. Yeah. And
that would help you.
That's on the self-care part. I love when you did the 3 parts. That's a self-care part with my husband. I took it too much for granted. I'm taking it too much for granted, the relationship. So maybe having a discussion with him
Okay.
because he does everything in the house, you know, like the cooking, even taking care of the cleaner, like I'm delegating everything, even going to the groceries, like so adjusting that and asking him like if he's okay with that, and how can I be better in that area.
Okay.
Yeah, and the cycling with him, I know he would enjoy. So yes.
Okay. So what about the third part? So you mentioned that you like the fact that there's three parts: the self-care, the husband, and also your work and all the tasks that you have to cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the mental charge of like all the tasks that you have to
Mm.
do. You know, like being overwhelmed, like what can I do when, like, and I last weekend was the worst because I decided like before the weekend, like all the tasks I have to do, and I think that was like too challenging and too overwhelming. I'm like,
Okay.
so maybe be kinder with myself in terms of my own expectations of what I
Okay.
can do, and that things can take time, and I don't have to do everything now. And
Okay.
yeah,
So what can you stop doing?
uh, uh, maybe yeah, less demanding in terms of how many tasks I can do in
Mm.
one day. Maybe being more organized in terms of lists. You know, like I work in terms of a to-do list, so at least it removes like all the things
Mhm.
I have to do,
Yeah.
like my brain. Uh, yeah, uh, yeah, that's it for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if I understand, so there's the self-care part. It's more time for yourself, cycling, maybe going to the pool, meditation, although you're not totally convinced yet.
Maybe not.
Having breakfast with your partner, and maybe a bit less TV. For your husband, you said that would be great if you have a proper discussion with him, taking time to share, and also making sure that in terms of expectation, in terms of number of tasks, you're just a bit less,
Yeah.
yeah, just put
Yeah.
not too much on your plate. Okay. So what do you think?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you very much for that. I would add maybe like a date night.
Sorry?
Yes, a date night with my partner, like
Yes.
having this famous date night like once a week where there's no television and it's just the two of us.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know for you, but it feels like being with the COVID situation, we both work from home. So we realize like we are always with each other, but at the same time, you're never with each other really. So having that, even if we are always with each other, like having that special time during the week. So when I discuss with him, I'll add that. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So now let's look, maybe we covered all those options. Let's look at the obstacles. What
Mm,
could prevent you from achieving that?
yes. So for me, the hard work is my identity.
Yes.
And my parents are crazy hard workers, like insane. Every day they do like they renovate the house, like but like hardcore, like they do everything themselves with their own hands. And there's always something going on. There's always a project. So I've been raised. So that's really like my value, my identity, like, and I really enjoyed that also. You know,
Mhm.
that's yeah, because that's the like I'm building things. I'm like very passionate about that, and so that's why that's my main obstacle. You know, like that's reassuring for me to be in that zone of hard work, creating, getting things done, and so yeah, that would be a huge mindset shift and worried that my identity, like if I'm not this overachiever, super performer, what would people think about me? Uh, Even I know my husband, like, is admiring me because of that. like, I would say that he calls it success, like personal, that's personal achievement of and I'm passionate about what I'm doing at work also. So yeah, that would be like, how do you prioritize this and how do you shift, and especially with the baby coming, can I still be that crazy hard worker, or will I? Sometimes I'm like, will I deny time with my baby because I'm too much like in my zone? So yes, so worried about that, and that would be my biggest obstacle. Yeah.
Okay, so that seems to be a huge obstacle, right? I can see when you seem very passionate, huh, when you talk about that.
Yeah.
So, what could you do to mitigate this risk?
So I would say if I make it part of a routine in terms of almost since my calendar is the one managing me, so I have to realize that the calendar is in control of me. So maybe putting those personal times in the calendar, and that they are top priority, So and that's in there. On the weekend, if I work only like a certain time, but not non-stop on the weekend, so at least I have time to take care of my family. And with the kids, I have no idea. I have no idea what's coming my way, to be honest. I'm like, how women are doing that, yes. So I think it's going to be a huge shift also. And I don't know. I think I cannot control or anticipate what will happen. And maybe that will be my mind. My mindset will shift automatically or not. I'm hoping it will. But yes.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I think it's a topic that we can definitely cover in another session because it seems to be very important for you. And you mentioned that at the beginning with the tsunami coming and now. So definitely a topic that we can cover if you want in another session. If we go back to your routine, so what I understand is because you're very organized, you're very focused and driven person, what could help you overcome this obstacle would be to be organized, to be less overwhelmed, to organize yourself to be less overwhelmed, and to use your all your work habits, to implement those work habits into your personal life and make sure that you have me time in your agenda. Is there anything else that could help you overcome this obstacle?
Talking with my husband, because he's been the one raising the alarms. So telling him we had this discussion and that he needs to help me on that also.
Okay.
A bit like the accountability partner. Because when he told me last week you haven't been out of the house for the whole week, we are already Thursday and that's 4 days, not even one step out of the house. So having him having that external view of my craziness, that will help a lot also. Yeah, and that I need his help on that.
Yes.
I'm not good at that. I'm not good at self-care. I'm not good at eating my breakfast. So I need his help on that.
Okay, so sounds great to have this support at home. Definitely a good idea. So when would you like to start this new routine?
Now.
Okay.
Yes, I would love. Yeah, I'm gonna do it now. So once we are done with the conversation, I'll talk to him at lunchtime and tell him about all that and debrief and implement all that right now. So yes, I'm putting everything in place. Yes.
Okay, how motivated are you?
Super motivated. Those realizations last week, the tsunami dream, the being tired during the weekend, and him telling me you're not getting out of the house. That's enough to get me motivated, and the kid coming, like I know I know I have to do it for me and for her. Yeah.
Okay, that you seem very motivated. Huh? That's great. So, okay, so anything else you want to share?
No, that's good. And thank you very much for this, Geraldine. Very useful for me.
Now, may I ask you, would you like to share any feedback on this session?
It was very useful for me. I never take time to think about that. I knew it was like something I needed to focus on. So thank you. It was very helpful, like that you helped me see that there are three, like self-care, a relationship with my husband and my work, and what to do with that, the action plan, and the tension, like the tension between me being in the flow and enjoying it, and having more priority, being overwhelmed. So it's yeah, very, very useful. And thank you very much for that. Yes.
You're very welcome, and talk to you next week.
Thank you. See you next week.